and welcome to the Nasdaq Market Site. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me on set, we have Efrem Slen, also with Nasdaq, and Tony Zhang of OptionsPlay. And we're here to talk about some technical analysis strategies utilizing the Nasdaq 100 Index Options. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me here today at the Market Site. Efrem, let's kick it off with you. Tell us a bit about the NDX Index Options.
Sure. So first we'll kick off what the Nasdaq 100 is, and it's the 100 largest non-financial companies listed on the Nasdaq. In addition, most recently we launched a different version of the Nasdaq 100, a reduced value, 1/5. So if you think about the Nasdaq 100 index value as you divide it by 5, that's really giving indications from 7,000 to about 1,400. So the Nasdaq 100 ecosystem, here, like you said, talk about the index options, but there's actually a whole ecosystem of products tied to the Nasdaq 100. ETFs, mutual funds, UITs, structured products, futures, and again, options we're here to talk about today.
All right, now Tony, as a market strategist, how does technical analysis apply to your trading?
So I've been a strategist for over a decade now, and I keep coming back to technical analysis for a few different reasons. So first off, the value of technical analysis is that it provides us with a sense of what is likely going to happen in the future based on past history. And technical analysis gives us three very distinct things that is very useful for trading. Number one, it gives us a sense for direction, whether we feel an asset's going to go higher or lower. It gives us a sense for magnitude, meaning how much we think it's going to go higher or lower. And lastly, it gives us a sense for timing. These are very critical things with respect to trading any asset. But one of the biggest flexibilities, in my opinion, of technical analysis is the fact that you can apply it to all asset classes. So while we're here to talk about the Nasdaq 100 index, there's a lot of constituents of that we have to be aware of, and other market factors such as interest rates or commodities. So technical analysis allows you to apply one form of analysis into all of these different asset classes that help shape your views on the overall market, that helps you determine what directional views you have. And lastly, technical analysis can be applied for all time frames. So regardless of whether you're a day trader or a long-term trader, you can apply that same type of analysis to 5-minute charts, to 5-day charts, to 5-week charts, and it really allows a lot of flexibility so you can gain a directional view regardless of what you're trading or what frequency that you're trading.
Now, why are options particularly suited for technical analysis?
So as a strategist working with traders from over thousands of different traders, one of the most important things that I see that differentiate successful traders from others is really their ability to manage risk. So when we're looking at technical analysis and we're getting a directional view, there's always the possibility that we're wrong on those views. And it's really about how you manage when you're wrong, how you manage your risk that define you as a trader. So with options, you have a natural way of being able to express a directional view in the markets while limiting your risk. And there's lots of different option strategies that you can trade. So what we have to do is analyze the different types of outlooks that you have on the markets to make sure that you're applying the right type of option strategies and deploying your capital as efficiently as possible. So for example, if let's say you have a directional view where you have a clear sense for magnitude, then there are strategies like debit spreads that really allow you to take that directional view fairly efficiently. But on other times, you may not have such a strong magnitude, a strong sense of magnitude as far as where you think the asset is headed, and that's really where maybe you might want to trade a credit vertical spread. So depending on how your what your outlook is on the individual market, that's how you can kind of determine which strategy is best suited for you.
So Efrem, why is it important to understand what the constituents are of NDX?
It's very critical. So when you think of the Nasdaq 100, or even the Nasdaq in general, you think of innovation and disruption, right? That's core to Nasdaq and really the companies listed here. And if really thinking about that, so of course a lot of technology names are going to come in. If you look at the weighting of the index, you have around 55% or so technology, but we also spans consumer services, healthcare, the next two industries. It really covers a lot of the industry classifications. Outside of that though, and this is what's critical, 75, or even taking a step back, 75 of the 100 names, give or take a couple, are in this S&P 500. So if you think about the index too, think it's large cap, it's growth oriented. You're getting really those big players, the Amazons, the Apples, but you're also getting a lot of other very strong names that represent that mantra of the innovation and disruption. So actually what's maybe most interesting, at least to me, about the Nasdaq 100, when you think of a performance perspective, a lot of the names that people tend to be thinking are driving are the biggest names. Actually the bottom 50 names are actually outperforming the top 50. So we've done a lot of research on that. It's really, really interesting.
All right, and Tony, let's wrap it up with you. What are some of your best tips and practices using technical analysis specifically on the NDX?
So first of all, I always say that as a technical analyst, you want to keep things as simple as possible. So first off, you always want to use price as your primary driver for your views. Price action is by far the most important indicator to look at. But as you look at other types of indicators, such as moving averages to get a sense for trend, and maybe RSI, stochastics, or MACD to get a sense for momentum, it's really important to make sure that you want to keep those things simple. Use only one indicator from each category so that you're not confusing yourself. So really just at the end of the day, try to keep things simple and most importantly, manage your risk. And options is one of the great ways that you can take that directional view but still have a limited risk on your strategy.
All right, Tony Ephraim, thank you so much for joining us at MarketSite. And be sure to catch the full webinar on using Nasdaq 100 index options and technical analysis. I'm